So this is what we'll be building today. We have the welcome screen and also this cool background. If you click on explore, it is going to take us to the home screen and you're going to see all the movies that we're going to be displaying today. Also, you have these bottom tabs that has the search place and also the save section. So you can save your movies here. Also, you can search for any kind of movie that you want. If you search for Avatar, it is going to display all the movies related to Avatar. And if you select this, you're going to see everything about the Avatar and also this cool card here. And also, if you select each individual cast, you're going to see their full information. Also, you can go back and also remove this movie from the saved section. And if you go back in the saved section, you're not going to see the movie anymore. Also, you can see the full information about this movie. And if you select this, and go back, that will be removed from the list and you won't see it anymore there. So this is what we'll be building today. You're going to be learning a lot and using a couple of libraries that will make your app really cool. And also you're going to be using flat list to make sure that all these cards are not displayed once on the screen and they're only displayed whenever you only need them. So without further ado, let's jump into building this. All right, to get started, the first thing we're going to be doing is creating a folder inside our desktop. We're going to be calling this movie. We're going to drag that inside our code editor. And we're just going to bring this here. And after that, we're going to open our terminal. We're going to here, new terminal. And inside of this movie folder, we're going to be installing all the necessary dependencies that we need to install. So we head to our browser, and the first thing and most important thing is installing React Native using Expo Go. So we're going to copy this code right here. Head back to our terminal and paste this code. We're not going to be calling this awesome project. We're going to be calling it movie cinema. Click on enter, and this is going to install React Native using Expo. Also, we're going to be installing other things as well. And the next thing we're going to be installing is React Navigation. You can check this website. And if you check here, it says React Navigation Native. We're going to copy that, bring that down, and we're going to wait for this to install React Native. When this is ready, we're just going to head into our folder by saying cd movie cinema. And inside of this, we're going to paste the code that we just copied right now, which is React Navigation /native. And that will handle all the navigation in our code. And also, we're going to head back here. We're going to go to Hello React Navigation. And when we scroll up, we're going to install the native stack navigation. This is installed. We're going to paste this as well. Install this. Head back to our browser. After installing that one, we're still going to install the bottom tabs because this is the design we'll be creating. And in the home screen, this is the welcome screen, by the way. This is the first screen we'll be creating. And in the home screen, we're going to be using bottom tabs and all. But I want to make sure that we install it first and set up all our navigation before we jump full into writing our code. So we're going to head back to navigator, bottom tabs, and you can see a quick description about what you're going to install and how it works, basically. So you're going to copy this. We're going to bring this down. We're also going to bring this down. We're going to paste this, install this as well. When that finished installing, we want to also install Tailwind CSS. And the way to install Tailwind CSS is quite different from the web. And you can check the native wind.dev documentation and see how to install it. And you can see here Expo, we've done this and we've done this. The next thing is to install native wind. So head back to our folder and paste this. I like to install the most important packages right from the start so that you don't need to turn off the server and turn it back on. So next thing we're going to install is this. We bring it back. Once we bring this back and it's ready, we're also going to say npm I. We're going to paste this. I would not like to install the latest one though. This is the version I would like to install, so just install it this way and you'll be good to go. Now, the step 2 is to make sure to also initialize our project with Tailwind CSS. So head back to our project. That is done. We paste this. And this is going to include a Tailwind config file right here. And we have to place some things inside of here. So we head back. We copy this content in its entirety. Then we replace it with what is existing here. This is just saying, okay, whatever directory is here, which is the app, use Tailwind CSS. And this is a custom directory. We're just going to change this to src, because all our components, all our routing will be done inside the source folder, which we are going to create in a minute. After that is ready, we're going to go back to our browser, and it said inside babel.config.js we have to install this as well. So we copy this too, and you head to babel.config.js, and under this we're going to paste the code. Normally when your server is ready and you paste anything here or you edit anything here, it's going to ask you to restart the server. We don't want that. Let's just start our project right away. So we're ready. Let's start our project by typing npm expo start. And by the way, guys, this is Visual Studio Code, and also this is a virtual device from Android Studio. If you want to download Android Studio, I'm going to be leaving the link in the description and how to set it up and all. So if you have an Android, you don't want to develop using a virtual device, you can just scan this QR code and make sure you download the Expo Go app on your phone. You can find that on the Android or iOS store. But in our case, we're going to be developing using the virtual device. So we're going to be opening Android, which is A, and our device is Pixel 7 Pro API 33, which is this device. We're just going to bring this down a little bit. It is going to bundle our app. It's going to do its thing. So give it a minute also to install, and you can see it's powering up our Expo Go app. So give it a minute. Give it a minute, and it is going to open our app in a moment. That is complete. Android bundling complete. In a minute, you should see our app here straight away. You can see. So it says we should open up app.js, which is this, and here we go, guys. We can start building our app, and we can replace this with the famous word hello world. Save it, and you see it change. We're good to go. Let's set up our folder. So in our movie cinema, I want us to have a folder, like I said the other time. I want to have an src folder, and inside of this src folder, I also want to have some set of folders. And the most important one is navigation. We're going to be handling our navigation inside of this navigation folder. Also, I want to create a folder called constants. This is where we're going to be handling all the dummy data. And also, we want to create another folder called component. And this is where we're going to be handling all our simple components. Also, finally, I want to be able to add a folder called screens. Inside of these screens, we're going to handle our welcome screen, home screen, and all the other screens that we have. So in the navigation, inside of this navigation, I'm going to have an index.js file. And inside of this, I'm going to say, give me a boilerplate code by typing React Native Functional Component. And this, as you can see, React Native Functional Component. Click on that. And I'm just going to edit this right away. Save that. And head back to, you can close some of these files here. Head back to app.js. Remove everything that is here. We're not going to be using the default style sheet style. We're going to be using Tailwind CSS. So there's no point using that. Remove this as well. I'm bringing up navigation. And as you can see, it has been imported. If you save that, you should see it change here. And yeah, as you can see, index. Inside of the app navigation, we can change this to app navigation. If you save that, you're going to see it right here. Now, inside of this is where we're going to set up all our navigation. And the most important thing for any navigation to have is the navigation container. And we're going to have that inside of here. But before we do that, let's also import some other things like create native stack navigator. That is one. Make sure it is create native stack, not only create stack. We are using the create native stack. After that, we're going to say import also create bottom tab navigator. Then each of these methods we're going to assign to a variable. We're going to say constant of stack, assign it to create native stack navigator method. And by the way, while I'm coding along to make this very fast and quick, I'm using GitHub Copilot. You can see it right here. To install it, just go to your extension right here and install GitHub Copilot. It is going to make your work faster and coding much more efficient. You can see it right here. And the next thing we're going to do is also assign this method to a variable called tab. And after that, inside of this return statement, we're going to say navigation container. And we're going to have this under this. Actually, we're not going to be needing any of this now, but let's leave it for now. Now, after this, we're going to create some set of functions first. And the first function we're going to be creating is the home stack. This is going to house all our home tabs, welcome screen, movie, and all. So to start that, we're going to say function home stack. And after that, we're going to return something. And what we're going to return is going to be a stack navigator. And it's going to have the following. Here, we don't want to have just home. We want to have the home tab. And also we want to have the home tabs. Currently, we don't have it imported. And it might throw an error, but let's leave that for now. Next thing we're going to bring in is a welcome screen. And the welcome screen is going to also have welcome screen as the component. So this is how to set things up first. Now, I also want to create another function. We're going to call that home tabs. And inside of these home tabs, we're going to return some things. And what you're going to return is also going to be tab.navigator and some screens as well. Understood? Now, it says there's a problem because, okay, we are changing this to function, save that, and the error goes away. Now, this is not the exact screen that we want to have. We want to have some other things. But first, let's use this home stack and also make sure that we create these components one by one. So inside of our screen folder, which is this, we're going to be creating some set of files. And the first one we're going to say is welcome screen.js. And we're going to create a boiler code for this by typing React Native functional component. We'll close this for a minute. And if you bring this here, it says you can't find it. Well, you can as well just say import welcome screen from screens welcome screen. And when that is ready, you're also going to be, these home tabs is what we attached here. And the bottom tabs is going to be, the first one is going to be home. The second one is going to be search. And the last one is going to be saved. You're going to see what I'm talking about in a minute. So this is going to be search screen. And also this is going to be a saved screen. Understood? Now, inside of our screen, let's create the other screens that we just mentioned. I'm going to say search screen.js. We're going to create a boiler code. After creating this, we're going to close this. The next thing is create a saved screen. And inside of this, we're going to say saved screen. This is going to be saving all the movies that we might be interested in. We're going to create a boiler code, save it, close this. I like to keep all my tabs here clean as possible. So let's see if it's going to auto import this. It doesn't. Well, how about we just say import home screen from this, and also you can see how fast these copilots are. They're able to import things pretty quick. And it says you can't see his home screen. Okay, we're just going to remove that for a minute. We're going to save it, and our code works. Next thing we're going to do is say import the saved screen, and we're going to save it. Now, this home stack is what we're going to be rendering here in our navigation container. So to do that, we still have to create this home screen. We're going to say home screen. This is where we're going to be displaying all our movies. We're going to save that. Now, we're going to import this, and it says it doesn't seize it. We're just going to use the auto import from GitHub Copilot. And inside of this, we're going to remove this code and say this is home tabs. We're going to save it. And in a minute, you're going to see all our tabs here, which is screen, which is saved, and all. You can see search screen, you can see saved screen, you can see our home screen. Good. Now that our navigation is set, let's try and get things up and running. The first screen that we want to be displaying here is not supposed to be the home screen. We want to be displaying the welcome screen. And the way to do that is set some properties here. And we're going to say the first and most important property is going to be called screen options. And we're going to be saying the header shown definitely false. Okay, there's an error thrown here. I'm just going to save this like this. And also, after this, I'm going to say the initial route name is going to be welcome. And this will change in a minute. We save that. And what is wrong with our navigation is basically we need to use this home stack, not home tabs. Good, save that, and you can see the welcome screen here. That was an error from my end, sorry about that. So what I basically did is just use this home stack functional component and use it right here. Then these home tabs, set it as the first component here, and we'll be good to go. So the first thing we're going to do is head back to our welcome screen. And inside of our welcome screen, this is where we're going to be putting this nice design. And the first thing we are going to do, I want to first import use navigation from React Native navigation. After that, we're going to say assign navigation or create a variable called navigation and assign it to this method here from use navigation. So the first thing we're going to do here is say our class name. This is where we're going to test if our Tailwind CSS really worked. We're going to say background is going to be a custom background of F6 4E32. Save that and check if our code works. Nothing yet. We're just going to continue studying and see if we're on the right track. We're going to say flex of 1, justify of end, items or center, space y of 10, and this is going to be relative. Save that, and if that doesn't work, and I think the issue is that we have a minus after this. We're not supposed to have a minus here at all. Save that. So you can see our welcome screen text here. After that, we're going to be having an image underneath of this. We're going to say image, and whenever you import, bring in a component, you have to import it. And here we're going to say, I'm going to be using source. And we're going to be saying source require dot slash asset slash images slash welcome. This is going to be welcome dot png. We don't have the folder yet. That's why these errors is showing on our screen. And also, we're going to be saying the position for this image is going to be absolute of this relative, and also the weight, the height, also the resize mode, which will come after this. The resize mode is going to be cover. Save that, and we're going to bring in our images. You can literally use any image you feel like. So instead of assets, you're to the images folder. They are going to bring in these welcome.png images inside of this. So just bring in an image, and I'm going to do that right away. So when you bring that in this welcome, you can see the welcome screen image, background image right here. If you save that, this error should disappear in a bit. So after we reload, our app is back, and you can see our image right here. Although you need to change the path to be able to see the image correctly. So next thing we're going to do is make sure that we remove this background first. We really don't need it. And this we're going to change to 100%. Also, we're going to change this to 100% so that it covers the entire screen, and you can see the background image right there. So moving on, we're going to say the next thing we're going to do is create some titles, which is all these things going on here. We're going to say create a view, and inside of this view, and before this view, we're going to create a comment. Say this one is title and button. Save that. And inside of this view, we're going to have several views. The first view we're going to have here, we're going to say this as a class name, and this class name is known as flex. Also, items, center, justify, center also, py of 28, which is padding of vertical, and also the max width, it's going to be custom. We're going to say 80%. So after this, we're going to say we have a class name here. The class name is going to be bg of red, and it's going to be 600, p of 4, which is padding of 4, and also rounded of 3xl. Save that, and you can see it right here. Okay, inside of this view, we're going to create a text, and this text is going to be saying MC, and we're going to say class name is going to be text white, also text 4xl, font bold, and also why not font extra bold? Let's have font extra bold, and also we're going to say tracking of widest, also margin y of 4. Save that, and we're getting close to what we want. Next thing we're going to say is we're also going to have a text after this, and this text is going to say movie cinema, and we're going to have a class name here. And this class name is going to be text of white, also text 4XL, fonts of bold, tracking of widest, also margin Y of 4. Save that, and this is coming up one by one. After this, we're just going to copy this. Okay, let's create it ourselves instead of copying. We're also going to have a text, and this text is going to say watch and find movies that bring your mood back. Save that, and you can see it right here. We're going to give it some style, and we're saying class name. It's going to be text white, tracking of widest, margin bottom of 2, text of large, text text of center. Sorry about that. Font of medium, and also after this text, is that all that we need for the text? Well, that look good already to me. After this text, we're going to have a view which will house the button. Understood? And inside of this button, we're going to be using something called touchable opacity. And touchable opacity is just like the equivalent of button. And also, inside of this view, we're going to say class name. It's going to be margin Y of 4 and also margin bottom of 36. Okay, so inside of this, we're going to say class name. And the class name for this is going to be px of 12 and also py of 3 rounded of large, also bg red 600. So you save that, and you can see our button coming up one after the other. Also, we're going to say we want a text here, and this text is going to say explore, not get started, sorry. We're going to say explore. Explore. And on press is going to take us to the home tab. This looks good already. So whenever we click this right here, there's an issue here. The on press has to be inside of this. And while we're having two text here, we don't want that. We only want one text here. So what we are doing basically inside of this is putting an on press event handler inside of this, and we are saying we are using an arrow function, and we are saying navigation, which we have right here, is going to navigate to the home tab, which we already set up inside of this. As you can see here, home tab. So if you select this, it's going to take you to the home screen, and we're going to be directed to that page. After creating that, we're going to make sure that this is properly centered, and we have a glitch here, and this is this view right here. We're just going to remove this and wrap it around this. And after doing that, we're also going to make sure we remove this text right here. Save that, and our code should work as the design that we have here. So our welcome screen is ready, and we're going to navigate to the home screen in a bit. So let's select this button in 3, 2, 1. We're directed to the home screen, and we have all our bottom tabs here with our home screen. And if you go back, you're going to see the welcome screen. So that is done. Let's get back to the home screen.